Hey guys, how's it going? So in preparation for his upcoming UFC debut, we're going to be breaking down Asakura's TKO over Yuki Motoya. So let's get into it. Kai opens up in a very wide and low stance with his hands down lower. He normally does this, but it's more exaggerated in this fight, as I believe that Yuki is more of a wrestler. This will help against Pantoja. It allows his puncher to come up from low angles and allows him to dig underhooks better. You see this a lot throughout this fight. Due to his wide stance, his opponents often try to leg kick him with varying success. Here we see Yuki, he tries to throw a leg kick. Kai lands a long right hand and then a long left straight, which lands pretty cleanly. He then fakes an entry while Yuki's against the fence, sees that Yuki ducks and puts his guard up, so Kai does it again, lands a right hand and then two left hooks afterwards. He doubles up on the left hook. Kai has a very nice left hook, it's very long, it comes very wide. Is open to counters at times, straight punches beat looping punches like the Weasel always says, but when he does land it, it lands well. Here we see Yuki try to blitz in with a right hand. Asakura tries to counter with a big right hook. They both miss and they come into a clinch. Asakura frames off with his right hand and then keeps his left arm tucked in close to prevent any underhook or overhook from getting in. Just good defensive work in the grappling. Here Asakura fakes a right hand, weaves under very low, and fakes another right hand. He often does this in his combos where he'll go right hand, weave under, left hook to the body, right hand over the top, but here he's just trying to see what reactions he can get out of Yuki. Here Kai begins to start attacking with the body just with a front snap kick. You see a lot of Japanese kickboxers use this. I made a whole breakdown on our Takaru, knocked out or stopped his opponent with that tool, and he just lands it pretty nicely here with a little pendulum step to cover distance. Now, since Yuki is the smaller fighter, he needs to cover distance because he likes to be in close range. He wants to wrestle, he wants to get to the hips of Asakura. What he starts doing a lot is he goes for the inside leg kick and then he dips low. Kai picks up on this. Yuki goes for an inside leg kick. Kai goes for a flying knee and it just hits the side of Yuki's head. Yuki's able to catch it and they clinch. Kai gets a overhook, I believe, and then uses his underhook side to sort of hold the leg to prevent any trips. However, Yuki's kind of able to get him closer to the fence and almost get his back. However, Kai uses his underhook side to almost like frame across and just prevent him from taking the back, which is really good work. They eventually circle around, and Kai, again, just using that 50-50 position, just strong underhook, strong overhook, to eventually get his hips far away and frame off away from the clinch. Very nice defensive grappling by Asakura. Kai lands another snap kick to the body, and Yuki is able to pressure him back and blitz in. Kai throws a big left hook, like I said, very wide. Yuki is able to duck under it into a clinch, but Kai immediately gets double underhooks really quickly. Just great urgency, and just doing the right things in these grappling scenarios, he's then able to just break away from the fence pretty quickly. Kai switches things up and tries to go through for a front kick to the face. Not even close to landing, but it's just occupying the middle space to prevent Yuki from coming forward. Kai then goes back to the lead leg kick, which he hasn't had a lot of success with, but what he does is he goes lead leg kick, and then he goes for a lead high kick instead. Those weapons kind of blend together very well. It just gets caught on the hand, but just an interesting thing to pick up on. Here, Yuki blitzes in and actually lands a good right hand and is able to duck under the left hook counter, but Kai again underhook and frame, just tucking his elbow in to prevent, any inside space from getting controlled, and he's able to break away. Kai gets Yuki against the fence and starts doubling up on right hands while weaving, under the counter shots. It's this changing of levels and just mixing up of head and body strikes, like we'll go right hand and then dip really low left hook, just switching up the attacks when the opponent's against the fence really confuses them and allows for some of them to land really clean. Now, Kai picks up on the fact that Yuki is dipping quite low and using a high guard, so he actually goes for a big rear uppercut, but Yuki's able to land a nice left hook counter. Now, after bouncing off the fence, Yuki is actually able to get Asakura on the ground. Asakura, however, has an underhook and has a butterfly hook, which, again, picture perfect stuff for when you're ready to get up off the ground. Just so he doesn't have to, okay, let's push on the hips, let's get an underhook, let's start building a way. No, he's already got the underhook and he's already got the butterfly hook. Like, it's perfect. And then he realizes that he can actually just push Yuki off of him, so he gets both of his hands, just pushes on the traps, and immediately turns over. Yuki starts trying to get his back. Kai beelines for the fence. Picture perfect stuff, because when you're against the fence, when you're against the cage, anything like that, it's a lot harder to get your other hook in. So again, Asakura just doing perfect stuff. Yuki actually tries to pick him up and slam him, but Asakura is able to keep balance and again beeline for the fence, just slowly turn over, use underhooks, use frames on the inside to just break away. Picture perfect stuff, and stuff that reassures me against Pantoja that he can be in these positions with his back nearly taken, but do just the correct things. Now, after all that, grappling, Kai probably has a lot of confidence in his ability to defend, and Yuki's probably a bit disheartened, and you can kind of tell by the body language, Yuki's kind of against, the back end of the ring, and Kai's standing there with his hands down, smiling at him. And this is kind of the beginning of the end. Kai starts beginning to commit with the jab, and he's seeing that Yuki's sort of dipping low and putting up that high guard, so he goes to the jab again, uncorks a nice uppercut, and just slightly slips out of the way of the counter. It might have just grazed his forehead, but still enough to minimize damage. It's very nice work from Asakura. Asakura then goes to his patented combo, right hand to get the guard up, weave really low, he's not bending over to do his body shots, he's squatting into them. So it goes right hand, weave left to the body. It's kind of on the belt line, it's bordering legal, but yeah, left to the body. And then since he's so low and his stance is essentially parallel, he's able to switch his feet and, rotate his stance so he can get more power on the follow-up right hand, which, drops Yuki pretty badly. And as you can see, Kai's confidence is growing. He's marching down Yuki with his hands down, and he's happy as can be. He starts committing to the jab a lot more, just landing long, hard jabs at range. It even starts, corking over it into a longer left hook, as Asakura does that a lot, and obviously making the reads on Yuki ducking down. He lands an uppercut as well, and Yuki is eventually able to get a hold of Asakura, which, to get a breather, to get his wits back about him. This is actually the worst thing for Yuki, because Asakura, instead of trying to get an underhook on Yuki's overhook, he actually just frames off from the overhook, and he actually just lifts it, just with his hand, just lifts it. He's able to land a nice knee right across the body, just with the point of the knee, and it visibly hurts Yuki bad, and Asakura notices it. He points at him as well. Asakura then starts swarming Yuki, landing right hands, left hooks to the body, right uppercuts, just mixing up the levels, and eventually he stops, he pauses, he goes back in, and as he steps in, Yuki tries to counter with a big right hand, and Asakura just lands a perfect knee to the body. As I was saying before, one of the best times to knee your opponent is when their body is stretched out or when they're punching, and this is a picture perfect example of it. He lands the knee and it folds Yuki. No follow-up shots needed. An excellent win by Kai Asakura. This was right before his next fight with Juan Archuleta, which I will break down as well. But I'm very, very excited to see Asakura in the UFC, even if he doesn't beat Pantoja. But I do think he has a decent chance. He does do the right things in the grappling scenarios, but I think his wild style on the feet may get him caught. But I'm excited to find out. Anyway, guys, that was the breakdown. Hope you guys enjoy, and see you next time.